Hello, my friends, it's Ryan Skinner. Thank you so much for checking out this episode here on The Falls YouTube page. If you have not yet, please subscribe, youtube.com/The Falls series. Please subscribe and click that notification bell. Thank you for watching this behind-the-scenes video, where we were going to take a look back at year 2 of The Falls Chronicles. Year 2, we did a lot. It was pretty crazy in terms of the storylines we tackled and all the progress that some of these stories made, and a lot of the stuff that the characters had to go through. The big storyline that we covered that obviously we started planting seeds for in year 1 of the Falls Chronicles was the Lincoln Kid storyline, and everything that went into that. Kem finally confronted him. Edgar chased him down. We did a lot of fun things with that. And in year 3, that's going to continue and get even crazier and heavier. And that was, a big thing that we had kind of led up to. But again, that was really more of kind of the halfway point of the story. The big stuff is still to come. But just in terms of Kem's character, him confronting him in that episode and kind of in a weird way, almost kind of having like a realization of sorts, like how bad do I want this? And we're going to talk about that in some of the new stuff coming up for the Falls Chronicles, how that kind of like, in a way, like broke his brain a little bit and kind of affected him, feeling that fear and like, when he talked to him and kind of going through some stuff that he realized, and not pursuing him, not chasing after him. Edgar also in the same way too, I think kind of realized, and we'll talk about this again in new stuff coming out for the Falls Chronicles, kind of also realized like, how much he really wants this, and yes, he wants this, but he has to go about it in a different way. So we will definitely continue that storyline. James obviously returned in the very first episode of year 2 of the Falls Chronicles. We did a lot of fun stuff with him in terms of his journey and going through stuff, and I love that very first episode of year 2 where he returns and Earl and Troll and Amy get him the cake and they recount kind of his travels and stuff. But we will do a lot with Sir James in year 3. And again, he's also going through some weird spots too. For a lot of the characters in year 2, it was very much a transitional kind of time in a lot of their lives where they're unsure of what they want to do. They're, a big theme inside the Falls universe is kind of fearing the past and in some cases fearing the future. And with this, year 2 of the Falls Chronicles, it was kind of almost in a weird way, not fearing the present, but kind of wishing to not be where these characters are and afraid to make a decision and kind of unsure of what they need to do. And, is James going to take over the practice? If he does take over the tax practice from his dad, is he going to have it be something different, be the same? Does he want to travel more? So a lot of the characters are in very weird in-between places in their life. And Haze as well. Haze is very much kind of in a different kind of mind frame than when she was, when we first saw her. Whether it's year 1 of the Falls Chronicles or even going back before that, Haze is very much, again, in kind of a transitional mode where she knows she wants to kind of not be the same person she was. And you see a lot of that in the episode we just did a few months ago with her and Claire, where you kind of see the old Haze kind of in Claire. Claire is kind of very much kind of an older version of Haze and just wants, the world to be this certain way. And this is how it should be, and a little bit more outdoorsy and kind of spiritual. And Haze has kind of been a little bit hardened kind of by the world now, and also just wants to make different choices and do different things. So we kind of see a lot of that in that episode, Bloom, episode 23 of the Falls Chronicles. We see a lot of that in that scene. Obviously, Rebecca, in that episode, we find out she's pregnant. We might not see the character of Rebecca for a little bit, but that's huge stuff. And we are going to see that character later on in year 3 of the Falls Chronicles. And I like we did that reveal with Jared and everything. I thought that was pretty sweet and nice with Jared and with Donna. I like how that came off. And obviously, that's a big kind of shift inside the Falls universe. And we will definitely do some stuff with that. And again, it's, one of those things too, it's the idea that we're watching these people live month to month inside the Falls Chronicles. And life keeps going, whether it's for the good, for the bad, for the crazy, for the different, and I love that. And obviously, nobody needs needs a reminder of how life can change from day to day with everything going on in the world right now, and with everything going on in the world, that it's going to be something we probably put more, or we would talk about more or address more inside the Falls universe with year 3 of the Falls Chronicles. If you watched the very last episode we did, Ashton X, the last episode of year 2, obviously, Timmy has the mask on and we talk about it. In the last Fit You Falls episode, chapter 8, we talk about it a little bit. So it's one of those things that feels like it's appropriate to talk about, because when you're doing a mockumentary, documentary style thing, of course, when you're just following around characters in the world month to month, or you see them every few months or something like that, when it gives it more of that grit and more of that kind of real life, feel. And that's something that the Falls has always been about. James in real life really does like hats. Schmitty, who plays Dragon, really does like his bonfires and stuff. So it's not across the board with every character, but that to me is a huge thing, and it's an important thing inside the Falls universe, of just to the fact that we're going to tackle some of the real, kind of tough stuff going on inside of the Falls universe. Only kind of seems, appropriate in making it a part of the show. And hopefully it gives you guys a little bit of, cathartic release on some level, or, you find some type of, hope in it, or some type of camaraderie in it, I guess. So a lot of the characters are kind of in holding patterns, if you will, in terms of having to make tough choices and face tough things. Earl, his character, obviously, Earl, played by Garrett Vanderwerf Jr., very much kind of in that space as well. Episode 21, Cladodrome, you saw a little bit of that in there with him. I think he feels like he's sure of what he wants to do, but you can tell there's something brewing there under the surface that we'll definitely get into in year 3 of the Falls Chronicles. Kyle and Byron and everything they did with, trying to help Mr. Colby out. Obviously, Genevieve, not, when she was supposed to get picked up, when she got out of jail, left the jail early, didn't want to be around her dad, didn't for some reason want to be around Byron and Kyle. We will definitely get into that in year 3 of the Falls Chronicles, but also get into kind of Byron and Kyle and their relationship more, how Byron all of a sudden wants to help Mr. Colby. We'll explore that more and get into that a little bit more, because back in episode 17, Spark, he kind of didn't want a whole lot to do with Genevieve and Mr. Colby. And in episode 22, Crow, you see some of that change. So we'll get into a lot of that too. We'll continue to follow the lives of Troll as well, who's definitely going through some stuff. And again, is kind of like a lot of the characters in that kind of holding pattern and unsure of what to do step in his life. Although if you watch the last episode of the Falls Chronicles that we did, episode 24, Ashton X, he seems like he knows what he wants to do now. So year 3 will be packed. We'll see Ken, we'll see Edgar, we'll see James, we'll see Troll. Some characters will be returning who we haven't seen in quite a while. You'll see Jerry come back around. You heard his voice briefly in episode 24. He'll be coming back around. If you want to see a deeper dive into year 3 of the Falls Chronicles and what you can expect in year 3, and kind of a deeper dive looking back at year 2 of the Falls Chronicles, go to our Patreon page, patreon.com/thefalls. That video is completely unlocked and free to the public, so you don't got to pay, you can just watch it. I kind of go into some of the stuff for year 2, and also look ahead to year number 3 of the Falls Chronicles in a bit of a deeper dive type fashion. So you guys are the best. I love you. Be safe, be strong, be healthy, be smart, wash those hands, eat that broccoli. You're the absolute best. I love you. The basement loves you. And like I said, new episodes of the Falls Chronicles in year 3 will be a lot of fun to watch, and I hope you guys enjoyed year 2 of the Falls Chronicles. Year 3 will be starting on Sunday, May 31st. The first episode will be up. Then that'll be episode 25 of the Falls Chronicles. We started making putting these out. The Falls Chronicles episode back in May of 2018. That was the kickoff of year 1 of the Falls Chronicles. And Obviously, we've now done 2 years, and year 3 will be starting from the moment we put this video up. Just a matter of days, basically a week and change. I love you. You're the best. Stay safe, stay brave, and we'll talk soon.